Welcome to another edition of your Wednesday night Sports Delight, the platform sports talk show.
Question is, did she subscribe?
Right.
I know she's down on YouTube.
Representing from the Boondocks. What up, Jobo?
Hello, what's up? Happy Wednesday.
What up? She repping her Hey Sister Soldier look right now. Everybody give it up for Bunny. What's happening, Bunny?
What up? Happy hump day.
T-Bone, what's going on, brother?
I'm back, and I don't know about better than ever, but I'm back.
What is going on, party people? It is your Wednesday night Sports Delight, the platform sports talk show. I am your boy Smooth. I think that may be on the highlight reel tape. And we're glad that you are tuning in live along with the millions
And millions.
of the platform sports talk show fans on once again your Wednesday night Sports Delight.
Really?
Or
The Brinks truck backing up in his driveway with
There you go.
97 million. There you go.
all you hear is this.
Always somebody who's doing something to give back and letting the next generation.
Say
Don't
straight.
have me tear up on here.
Come on now, don't have me tear up. You know I get emotional.
But people watching around the world, no pressure. And we already have our favorite fan, Ms. Williams, saying, welcome, Brandon.
Well, how are you? How, Ms. Williams?
A guy who tried to give it his all and put on for the city, to be truthful. Because like I said, I'm St. Louis die hard.
The views of Smooth does not reflect the Platform Sports Talk Show or its sponsors.
What is going on, everybody? Party people. Hope y'all are having a wonderful Wednesday. It is your Wednesday night sports delight. I am your boy Smooth. Happy 2023, the first show for the main show of the new year. Hope y'all had a wonderful Christmas season, holiday season overall. I know that I have. I know that my family have. Shouts out to my beautiful SA Dub, Jamie, love you. To my baby girl who was in town from Texas, baby girl Miracle, had a fun time with you. Daddy loves you. And for all those, once again, thank you for tuning in, watching the Platform Sports Talk Show. I am not alone. Coming up first from the Boondocks, Part 2 or 2.0. Joe Bo, what's happening?
What's up? Happy Wednesday. And yeah, I'm excited to get this show going tonight. Got some fun things to talk about.
Man, do we ever? And before I bring on our second panelist, shouts out to you and the ladies last week for holding things down for Ladies Night, the 2-year anniversary. Just amazing how time has gone by so fast, with the show, with these shows that we have going on.
I know I couldn't believe that it was 2 years already. We've had some different people coming into the show, but me and Bunny are still there, and it was fun having Coach Stringer on. I like getting to know Coach Stringer. She's not on here a lot, but it was fun getting to talk to her for about 30 minutes to an hour. So but yeah, I had a lot of good time.
Yeah, and definitely stay tuned in regards to a lot more of Coach Stringer, especially in person. Got some things. Hopefully, our schedules can all align right to make some things happen, so we can all come together as a unit, all in one setting, outside of course, on social media or whatever. So going down, but once again, shouts out to you, to Bunny, to Coach Stringer, and Coach Willis. Ladies' Night, the best panel of ladies on a Wednesday night, man. I'm telling you, they hold things down. Now, up next, this man here, former professional wrestler, was residing in Orlando, Florida, but he's back in the Lou, representing Normandy High School. Also went to Kentucky State, the Thoroughbreds, and this guy definitely needs to be in law school. So SLU University or Washington University, whatever you want to call it, no matter where it is, go ahead and get this man in your damn campus and make it happen, because you got some things to say. And that's T-Bone. What's going on with you, man?
Hey, I'm back. Can you hear me?
Oh yeah, you sound great.
I went and got the good mic this time. I figured, with the new year, might as well start off right, or at least for me, it's first week here for me. So happy New Year. Happy New Year to all y'all. I'm glad to be back, and hey, can't imagine what's happened over the past week that would get anybody talking.
Man, I just would not have any idea what would be going on right now in the world of sports. But before we continue, let's go ahead, T-Bone. Let everybody know where they can find the Platform Sports Talk Show for the first time viewers who like, man, this show been going on for a minute. Well, tell them about where they can find us at.
Whew, it has been a minute, so let's make sure I can remember exactly where we can go. I mean, I think that there's a graphic that shows everything right about now. All right, there we go. We got the Platform Sports Talk Show. You can find us on Roku after this. Y'all want to check out the full viewing experience for those of y'all who may be listening on the radio. We coming to y'all in a second. But if y'all checking out and want to see the full video, check us out on big screen. Y'all can check out. I know some of y'all got them 75-inch TVs out there. Check us out full screen. Y'all see all my blemishes anyway. Anyway, you'll get to see Hot 365 Radio. Maybe I shouldn't say see. You can listen to us on Hot 365 Radio, where it's always hot out there. And I heard that they got a Twitch channel. That's what I heard. Smooth, you heard that? Joe, you heard that?
Hot yeah, we on that Twitch.
Hot 365.
We on that Twitch now, dog.
Look, I'm sitting up here. When we gonna start gaming for the Platform Sports Talk Show? Y'all don't want them sticks on Madden. Be like a TCU Georgia game, you know what I'm saying? Anyway, or TSU. What? TCU? Yeah, I had it right. TCU. Anyway, Hot 365 Radio, you'll be able to hear us every week all the way to the end of the show, usually till about 9:30 Anyway, let's talk about what happened. First week of the month, we got Ladies' Night. That's right. You catch Joe, Bunny, and the rest of the panel out there. You get to hear what they have to say about sports. And I hear that they always bring their show. They always bring it every month. So check out Ladies' Night the first Wednesday of every month. And hey, don't forget the last Wednesday, we got the Man Cave. That's right. You get me. You get Sadal. You got Stanton. You got Craig Black out there. So, we always going to have some conflicting opinions. But at the end of the day, we all family out here. So the last Wednesday every month, you got the Man Cave. It don't get no better than that. Check us out and leave them likes and subscribes and all that other good stuff on YouTube so that, this thing can grow. You know what I mean? Trying to grow.
Keep growing and growing and growing. And speaking of growth, last week, T-Bone, Joe took your spot with the promo and she held it down.
She is much better at it than I am.
I don't know about all that, but
I am right now. I feel rusty, dusty. This year just started. I'm like, whoo, trying to get that first promo off of the year. I'm like, oh, I almost forgot that what I was supposed to do. I did not know my role, if you know what I'm saying.
And speaking of which, shouts out to y'all with the Super Show, an incredible show. Y'all had some nice debates going on and conversation, so it was very cool, and I appreciate the love y'all showing me at the end. It means a lot, and want to continue to keep this thing going and growing and get even better in 2023. Now, I brought up in regards to Ladies' Night and how great the show was, and in case you missed it, just check this out.
What up? Guess what? Happy New Year! Our producer wants to start a new segment called About That Action.
He's so catchy.
Come on. What's up about that?
He has a good wordplay.
I know. I love it. I said, look at the producer skills.
He might be a rapper, low key.
Like it, and then click on the bell. Because anytime you go live, you will be notified.
Look at go! What? Oh man, honey.
All right.
Oh, look at you. Boy, this girl's a natural, I tell you.
We got one of our guys from the Man Cave saying happy anniversary to us. It's our 2-year anniversary here at Ladies' Night. So thank you, Stanton.
What up, Stanton? Oh, look, he probably got his velvet do-rag on in the background while you're over there watching the show.
Someone at the beginning of the year, a writer, said that they don't think the Blues are going to make the playoffs. And I was kind of like, I don't think this team's amazing and it's going to win a cup, but I think they'll definitely make the playoffs. And now I'm sitting here and I'm like, what does this guy know?
But I think the biggest thing that high schools can do to help these kids before they even come to me is really marketing their players, posting stats, posting game tapes, because it really comes down to what they're doing in their high school. If they don't have anything marketing them before their senior year, they're not going to get any opportunity.
I don't know. It's just I couldn't imagine being a San Francisco Giants fan, one of the more historic franchises in all of baseball. You won the World Series how many times in the 2010s, and then all the talk about how much money you're going to spend this offseason.
The big headline y'all heard is about Damar Hamlin and Jobo. Even if you don't follow NFL, I don't know if you heard about this story because it happened on live TV when he collapsed. When it's a cardiac arrest.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was giving Mia a bath whenever Brendan came in and told me about that, and it's scary, I hate seeing these kids, because he's a kid. He's 24, I think they said.
I call them gladiators. Like you heard back in the Roman days and Julius Caesar's days when they used to go to the arenas and fight literally to the death. I mean, that's how I look at football, but you get a check out of it. Because you're putting your physical body and your brain on the line every time we suit up with a helmet, pads, and all that.
Teaching our kids how to perform hands-only CPR. And it's best to perform, hands-only than not, giving somebody CPR. So maybe that's something I can work on, extra I can teach people. I mean, that's actually a good idea. Don't give me no more jobs, but,
The other big news from that night was Mr. 71, Donovan Mitchell. Did you hear about they pulled almost a Kobe on us with 71 points?
That's hard to do. I mean, my career high was 32 points. I thought that was a lot of points, but 71 points.
Yeah, that means you got that hot hand, so hot, water can't cool you off. And the opposing team, whoever's assignment to defend you, they got an F+ on that assignment.
Right.
Oh, you ready to talk about New Year's resolutions?
It's not like Jimmy G is the best, but now he's gone and they're like on their 4th QB right now, so I don't get it. But I guess quarterback's not that important then. I don't know.
Bring Kaepernick back.
And you know my favorite line from you. Balls in the face, baby.
Well, they played against UMSO. This is the first time I've seen him play since I coached you. And he went up for a dunk and he missed. I said, "Yo, put your balls in his face." He said, "I didn't even know you was here, coach."
I love it. See, I said the Jaguars have gotten better with Trevor Lawrence there. I said he was gonna sleep on them. So even though their record is not looking the best, it's right at 500. They have proven that they're ready for playoffs.
I was telling my mom this on Sunday. You had Jack Buck, for some of the older crowd, and now like Danny Mac. That was my voice of the Cardinals.
So Joe Bo, you see this is one of my Christmas presents.
I was gonna ask about that. I like it.
I love it too. So we're talking about the Cardinals on one side, the Blues on the other. So let's talk about St. Louis Blues that has you having the blues.
Let's talk about it. Hey, man, that whole highlight reel, y'all had some fun, huh, Joe?
Yeah, it was a good episode. Like I said, Coach Stringer, she's funny. Something about balls to the face and
balls in the face,
itchy butts or something like that. She said too. So, but yeah, that was a fun one right there. Hi, Miss Williams.
Hey,
there we go. We got Miss Dub.
Yeah, Miss Dub. I keep forgetting.
It's all good. You gotta get used to it. We are trying to get used to it. But Miss Dub, our favorite fan of the platform Sports Talk Show. So thank you very much for tuning in. Once again, as T-Bone said so gracefully earlier, hit the like, subscribe, show love, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Hot 365 Radio on the app and on Twitch. Just go put twitch.tv/Hot 365 Radio. You'll see the show right now. And I'm saying on the radio, we sound so good and clear. I mean, it's like you recall back in the old school days, T-Bone, when you had like Doc Winters on the radio, late night, voice sound all good and everything. That's how we sound right now. You're talking about sports. So we're making sports sound real sexy right about now on Hot 365 Radio. So with that being said, it's showtime. You now have my attention. What sports stories has your attention? T-Bone, go ahead and tee it off for us, man.
I mean, since I missed last week, I think the biggest thing that caught my attention was, everything that happened with DeMar Hamlin back on that Monday Night Football game. And, for me, that kind of it brought me back to a different time. So first, I am very glad to hear that everything is going well with him. And, when I said it brings me back to something, for those of y'all who know, I was a professional wrestler at one point in time. And, I started wrestling back in 2008, training with people. And I can remember back at the time in 2011, January of 2011, to be exact. One of my friends went to a match. We weren't booked on the show, so he went to a show out in Tampa. Apparently, the story was that he got chopped in the chest, got up, collapsed. They had to do CPR on him and everything. We wound up getting notice of it back in Orlando, and me and his roommate drove out there. And during the whole time, we were getting conflicting stories like. We were told we think it was like a brain injury or something like that. And, we're driving out there expecting the worst of when it comes to that. We get out to the hospital where, we got in touch with his family and everything. And we find out from the doctors that he had cardiac arrest. So, I just basically flashed back to that moment, and it's weird how these things happen, but his timeline of recovery is almost identical to what happened with my friend. My friend was in an induced coma for about 2 or 3 days and then got up and was hungry. So I just, when it comes to athletes of any kind, those things, it's one of the scariest things that can happen. But we always are glad to hear the success stories and not an ultimate tragedy.
Yep, most definitely, man. And last week, the wifey and I, we were watching the game, and I was telling her probably about maybe 5 minutes prior to that happening to him. I'm like, this is gonna be probably the best game of the year, or one of the best Monday Night Football games. Like, I was like amped up, like this is about to be big time. And then that moment happened, and we were just both like, wow, because it was so unprecedented, and the NFL didn't really know how to handle that situation at that time because they weren't used to seeing someone being out because of his situation. It's usually, someone's paralyzed, not paralyzed, concussed, or, whatever it is. But then, 5-minute break, everyone kind of composes themselves and then they can play again. But we all saw from the get-go, it just hit different, and just seeing the guys getting very emotional and just being very quiet. And shouts out to the ESPN crew for how they were able to handle that situation during that time, because it's not easy to be on the fly and having to commentate, keep people informed, not try to do too much as well, And then to the head coaches from both teams, shouts out to them for realizing that the game doesn't matter at that point.
The training staff too. The training staff is the key to everything.
Yes, because they said that if the one trainer, I forgot his name, but someone can look it up for me real quick, or whoever it was. But he said that if he didn't come at the time he did and give CPR, it could have been tragic. So just shouts out to all those involved who made this happen in regards to Hamlin being alive to this day, and now he's back home from the hospital. So just an amazing story.
I can tell you that though that seconds matter. Like, from what I've heard about Hamlin so far, like everything seems to be pretty fine. When my friend had that happen to him, he, like I said, he got up and was he was speaking and everything, but he also had some issues with like memory for a few days. So those seconds matter. He wound up ultimately recovering. He wound up being the best man at my wedding. So, but those seconds matter. So the Bills training staff, like, they deserve bonuses.
Most definitely. And T-Bone, I think we're getting some static. It could be from your end.
Yeah, it's probably this cord. So I'll just go to the regular thing here. 1 second.
All right. We'll get it together, but you know how it is. Technology is always something, but we will still bring up a good show. And Miss Dub says that's when having staff with good emergency training is so important. Most definitely. And they cannot go unnoticed.
I was gonna say it's funny, during the playoffs, baseball playoffs, we all think it's kind of funny and silly that these guys get introduced and high five and fist pump down the line, but I mean, they're just as important as anyone else, and they're usually the first people these players think and whatnot whenever they're given some sort of speech. So they definitely don't go unnoticed, and times like that makes normal fans, normal people realize that.
And one thing that I like that I saw from like NBA games, when they had like the first game of the season and the defending champions get their ring, like they actually show the staff, not just the coaching staff, but the trainer staff get their rings. I love seeing that. So because like you said, Joe, they play a huge role in regards to these athletes being able to still perform at a elite level. So definitely shouts out to the staff, man. And once again to Damar Hamlin. Now he's back home after everything that he's gone through, and everything's good, man. He's getting better and better. So shouts out to him, and for all those who prayed for him, who support him, and continue to pray for him, because we don't know what's going to happen now. Will it be a situation where he can come back again, or will he be like a Jay Boymeister type thing where he may not come back? So we'll
J-Bo
see.
is a little bit older than him, but yeah, it's
I mean, it's
maybe he doesn't want to do it anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, there may be that. I mean, I remember, like I said, my friend, when that happened in January of 2011, he was out for a few months, but it was more of the precautionary because you just don't know what happened and what caused it. So, hopefully they'll be able to do the tests required and see what may have caused this. If it's completely acute, the opportunity for him to come back would be there if he wants to. Like this point, something traumatic like that, it's hard, but he's been basically, gearing towards this his whole life to play football, so he may want to come back. And I know everybody's going to be kind of like holding their breath that first game he plays, but I think that if as long as it's just acute, the blow that did it, he has a pretty good opportunity to come back.
So the doctors did say that he did not have any pre-existing issues going on. It was just because of that hit that he took.
Yeah. I mean, my friend got chopped in the chest. We see chops in wrestling every day. Like, it was a chop in the chest. That blow at that specific time in that specific spot caused that reaction. And, football's been played for I don't know how many years now, but this is the first time in modern times that we can, recall that anything like that has happened.
Right. But yeah, once again, we're just glad that he's alive and well and smiling and sharing stuff on social media, just being normal again. So definitely shouts out. Joe, what about yourself?
So I mean, I guess there's a couple things out there, but this one literally just popped up in my head. And I wish I would have mentioned it to you before the show started so you could pull a clip, but football, and you said something about the Detroit Lions. I know they didn't make the playoffs or whatever, but
they coming.
They were close, so I laughed at you, and even though they didn't make it, they were pretty damn close, it's like someone had to lose or win and they could have made it, vice versa, but that was weird for me to see a Detroit Lions team be over 500 or whatever it was, because when did that happen last time?
Man, your husband messed it up, Baker Mayfield. Threw that interception against Seattle. The Rams had it, but he didn't throw the ball far enough, and the guy from Seattle intercepted it. And then, of course, they came back and had the field goal. The Rams had the opportunity to allow the Lions to go to the playoffs, and yeah. But it's all good, man. I'm very happy for the Lions. I saw it coming. Next year, I'm saying watch out because you're gonna have a full year of Jameson Williams, the kid from St. Louis, who was out for like first 10 or so games of the season because of his injury through college. But yeah, Jared Goff looking good. The head coach Dan Campbell got them guys ready. I mean, each guy is playing for Dan Campbell, and I love to see it. This team is on the rise, and it's good for football too. It's good for the game. So shouts out to the Lions, man.
Now I got to go back to all the Lions fans out there that I know that are just happy. Look at what we did. We're more than 2-18 or 2-16.
Yep. All right. So in regards to myself, I'm gonna start off with some local basketball. Mizzou and SLU. Mizzou is top 20, y'all. We are actually at number 20 in the rankings. We are official. We are back on the map. They have right now, as we speak, 5 consecutive home games where it's going to be sold out at the Mizzou Arena. That has not been seen in years. So shouts out to Coach Dennis Gates, what he's brought to the team. They have one of the most efficient offenses in all of college basketball, one of the top defensive teams in basketball. Their biggest issue, though, is their size and their rebounding or lack thereof. That's my only issue with this team, but they have scorers. They got guys who, and I think this is going to be the key, especially T-Bone with this whole, NIL and transfer portal. I think the key is going to be to have a great mix of youngsters, but 3 or 4 year players on the team. You got to have experience on that team, and that's how you're going to be successful. You may get that experience from, the transfer portal, graduate transfers, the whole nine. Whatever you gotta do. But I think that's going to be the key for unless there are some changes with the transfer portal rules. You have to have a nice mix of 3 to 4 year veterans along with the splash of 3-4 star guys, freshmen coming up or whatever. And right now, Mizzou has that. They have some veterans on their squad, and they're playing like a force to be reckoned with. My main concern, once again, is just their size and their rebounding because of the lack of size. But outside of that, I'm loving what I see. On the other end, SLU, I had very high hopes going to the season, and they have really been a disappointment. They're playing right now against George Mason, but I believe SLU was like 10-6 or something like that, or 7. They had a good start to the season, but then like reality hit. They started playing on the road or neutral sites, and they just, the moment where they have opportunity to maybe get into top 25 or be considered a big threat going to March, then they falter. And it's like there's something just not clicking with this team where they can go over the hump. And I thought they would have advanced more now, and they haven't. So I'm very disappointed in SLU. Hopefully they can make some noise in the A10 conference, because that's probably gonna be the only way that they make to the big dance is if they win the conference tourney in March. So we shall see. In other news, the St. Louis City SC started their official training camp today, and it's very exciting times. Had great weather today. It felt like it was like March already a little bit, but they had their training camp today, and it's very exciting. They'll have a few days of training camp here in the Louvre. Then they'll start playing some exhibition games in different, of course, cities and everything. But it's just a very exciting time that now we officially have, well, I can't say 3. We have 4 professional teams getting ready to rock and roll here in St. Louis for this year, man. So very exciting times for the local area. And that 4th team I was referring to was the Battlehawks, because their training camp started this week, and the schedule is out and the divisions is out. So as you see on your screen, the very first game of the season for the Battlehawks. T-Bone, where's your cacao at?
Cacao!
There we go. Very first game of the season, they play against San Antonio Brahmas. February 19th, they'll be on ABC. But you see here that their first home game, and I know I had to make it there. We all had to make it there, y'all. I'm sorry. March the 12th against Arlington Renegades. The first home game, 3 o'clock on March the 12th. We definitely have to be there and show up and show out. And Miss Dub says, can't wait for the Battlehawks home opener. Cacao! So definitely got to show love, man.
I'm excited.
Where's their press pass at?
You said, oh, you know what? Let me get at at the coach, Anthony Beck, and see what we can do, man. Get some press media passes a whole now so we can be behind the scenes and talk to some players, be on the field, the whole 9. So see what I can do. And then on the right-hand side of your screen, you got the divisions. The Battlehawks are on the north side. It looks like North and South Street, T-Bone, in U City. But yes, we are in the north along with the DC Defenders, Seattle Dragons, and we have the Vegas Vipers. Then on the south side, we have Arlington Renegades, the Houston Roughnecks, got to get a roughneck, Orlando Guardians. T-Bone, has there been any buzz? Have you heard anything about the Guardians?
I've been here. I hear Battlehawks.
There we go. It's all it matters.
Week with what I hear, with what I find.
Okay, and then once again the San Antonio Brahmas. So yes, it's official. The MLS and the Lou CDSC they started up, and the Battlehawks starting up. The only gripe I have is, of course, they doing things different where they have it all the teams. Training camp and practice during the season will be in Texas. So all the practice and everything would be in Texas, and then they'll come to their respective home cities days leading up to the games, and of course during game day. So you just kind of wish you had more of that interaction with, the guys more. However, today, some of the hierarchy and a few players, maybe I believe, are in town today. The Battlehawks were in like the St. Louis Armory. They're going to be at Bar Park Village, I believe, and somewhere else throughout the city today. So they're, big time guys are going there to, spread the word and promote and the whole night and market and stuff like that, and be one with the community. So it's good to see. So once again, very exciting times, man. 2023. Then of course, Joe, next month, what comes back?
WBC.
Man, baseball is going to be coming back, spring training, the whole nine. So it's just amazing how time just goes by like this. Like, man, just got done getting mad.
I'm excited because, like, I was thinking before the show, and I said WBC, that's March, but baseball in general comes back.
Right.
But, like,
right.
I don't know, you've seen, like, the last little free agents kind of trickle and maybe some, trades that might happen, but I just had I always miss baseball when it's not on, but before the show, I was sitting there really thinking about baseball. I miss it and I'm ready for it. There was a good article Derek Gold wrote about Arenado and, just how much he loves St. Louis and being here. He wants to be here. And so I'm excited. I just want to get things going. I don't want to have to feel negative about the Cardinals anymore. And I just want to watch baseball. So I'm excited for it.
Yeah, most definitely, man. So St. Louis, get ready, man. We got a lot of entertainment coming. Ms. Dub says there's a happy hour with the team and coach one day this week. Yeah, that's today. I think it's going on right now over at Bar Park Village. So they would do it on the Wednesday night, but hey, it's all good. Trying to compete with us. I know they had no chance, but still,
Got it on location.
Right. And let me make sure that was it for right now. So a lot going on right now in the sports world, but let's go and get into some more topics. Joe has the Blues. Joe, a whole lot's been going on over the last couple of weeks with this Blues team. It's like one show we're talking about, okay, here we go. They're back. They're looking good. Then I think last week on Ladies Night, you was like, yeah, some guy was talking about Blues gonna have a bad season, and I'm like, where you get that from? And then it's like, okay, O'Reilly got hurt, Tarasenko got hurt. Yeah, it's over. It's a wrap. But now all of a sudden, the kids are playing, and the Blues haven't lost, and they're playing against some good teams too. Ain't like they just know whatever teams. They're playing against some good teams on the road and at home, and doing their thing. What has been the change with this Blues team?
I'd be lying if I told you I knew what it was. I don't know. Like, I know last year, I think Tank was out for 7-8 games, and I think we won every single game that he was out. So I don't know if that has something to do with it, but I was telling my Uncle Jody, the kids have something to play for. They want to be up here, and they're playing for a spot to stay here. So, that could be part of it. But Braden Shen and Buchnevich have been on fire, and you got the two guys that are going to be the cornerstone of your franchise for 8 to 10 years now is Kyrou and Rob Tom. They've been on fire. It's mind-blowing that they're not going to the All-Star game, but they've been great. And as you've seen last night, if you watch the game, they're a big reason why this team's starting to play better. And like you said, I feel like it's like watching that rerun. I'm all sad. Joe's got the blues about the Blues. And then now I can sit here and, they had a thriller game last night and they won. And I think they've lost one game since the last time we spoke. So they're just a really weird bipolar team this year. I don't really understand it, but when they're winning, it's electric to watch, honestly. That place was rocking last night.
So the real question we need to ask is it time to officially say goodbye to Tarasenko and O'Reilly?
I don't think O'Reilly's the issue. I mean, he's been fine.
And I'm sorry, yeah, I wouldn't say he's the issue, but just because of how other guys are stepping up because of him being gone, it's kind of like other guys are taking that opportunity now to be even better. Do you feel like that will lead to O'Reilly maybe being traded to acquire more pieces, more guys to fit in, and same thing with Tarasenko? Not saying they're the problem, But because of the chemistry that they're showing these last few games now, it's kind of like they kind of found something different, and they're finally playing to the style that Berube has wanted them to play. And not saying O'Reilly has had a terrible season, but we all know that he hasn't really been the same guy since Perrin left as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think the main thing is Tarasenko. We've talked about it on the show multiple times. He's been rumored to, being traded or wants to be out of St. Louis for 3 years now. So I don't think O'Reilly would be a trade piece because he's out longer because he has a broken foot. Tank maybe because he's going to be a free agent, and I think a lot of teams see him as very intriguing right away. So definitely that. I think O'Reilly, still I don't think his is like a chemistry thing either. He just hasn't had a great year. And you mentioned something as David Perron, he's been gone, and Michelle Smallman has come on here and said it. Everyone on the radio's talked about it. That's someone that we think the Blues are going to miss, and I think it shows with certain people like Ryan O'Reilly.
And Miss Dub says if the Blues can get some consistency, they could be great. Yep, definitely.
Yeah, it's like they got on paper a really good team. I don't think a Stanley Cup contender, but they got a really good team, and that's why I said I think it's strictly chemistry. I think Chief is stuck in his own ways of how he wants things to be done, and you got guys like Rob Tom and Kyrou who are they are strictly that's what hockey is nowadays. Very fast and all the crazy puck handling, kind of like how Schwartz used to be, and that's not how Chief likes to go about it. So we'll see.
What are your thoughts now? I know you've been kind of like on the fence the last couple of years about Binnington, but what are your thoughts now about him?
I just don't think I don't think he's the best goalie out there. Like, Blues fans all over Twitter just on their knees for this dude. I don't know why. Like, he's given up 8 or 9 goals in his last 2 games alone. But I mean, he got the W last night. I guess that's all that matters. But he's just, when you got Thomas Greiss going out there and shutting out someone, and then, Binnington goes out there the day before and gives up 5, and then last night gives up 3 or 4. It's just when it comes to the most important time of the year, playoffs, he's usually that guy. But you got to get to the playoffs first, and he's not a good regular season goalie for whatever reason. I don't understand it. I think he the antics and everything that he does, it was funny and cute at first, but it's a bad look, and that's probably the second worst thing that Army has done to this franchise is that giant contract, because I don't think anyone's gonna want to take that contract on.
So taking number 1 was Perron, or was it not getting Pietrangelo back?
Oh no, Perron. Petro, I mean, it sucked. But the thing that I will say with Pietrangelo, though, is like there's a lot of talk of O'Reilly's probably not going to be back next year. Which, okay, whatever. Don't get rid of a guy that's been your captain for 7 years and then give it to a guy, the captain, who's been here for a year or 2 years, and then don't even have in your head that he's potentially going to be gone later on. Like, it should have been given, the captain should have been given to like Braden Shen or Robert Thomas. That's probably the guy I think it should go to now. Like, you should have thought clearly about it, because I hate how it sounds stupid, because the captain really means something that crazy. I kind of think it does, especially when Blues put it up against names like Bobby Plager. I think it's a very important letter to have on your chest, and to just give it to someone who you're just going to let go later on, I think it's kind of silly. So, but no, Pedro, it sucked. I was probably more upset about it because I was pregnant when it happened. But Perron is number 1. The guy wanted to be here in St. Louis. He's had 3 or 4 tours here, and now he's just gone. And so that's definitely number 1, because I think it had a domino effect.
It's amazing how important moves are in the season or off season or whatever. But the Blues are playing great, so let's just enjoy this ride as long as we can. Hopefully they'll continue to be consistent.
They got a lot of
and
home games coming up though, and they have not
Yeah.
been good at home. So let's see what happens with that.
Maybe the
most
ticket
definitely.
drop.
Huh?
So maybe the ticket prices will drop for those games. I tried to go to a Blues game. I think it was either the beginning of this year or towards the end of last year. I looked, I was like, well, I guess I was gonna go, but then I had to bring like 3 other people with me, and I was like, nope, can't do it today. We'll find another time.
And see, the issue with that, T-Bone, about them prices, as long as the Blues are playing good, the prices are going to be high.
Your best chance is to go to a preseason game because those are pretty cheap. They still do all the warm ups, the music, the goal horn, the towel man.
Earlier in the season because the tickets were reasonable. Like the tickets had like the prices that I was looking at, and of course I'm looking same day. So like we're looking at triple digits as opposed to double digits for like basic seats at that point.
Yeah, and Jamie, she hasn't been to a hockey game yet, Blues hockey game, so definitely got to get her there this year. At first, I'm like, I don't know the way they playing. I don't want to see it myself, but we'll see. We're gonna make it happen before the season's in. And we talked about Robert Thomas and Tarasenko. So let's talk about Joe NHL All-Stars. The All-Star just came out, and I was surprised. I'm happy that we have a Blues representative, but I thought it would have been Kyrou or Thomas. I did not expect it to be Tarasenko, who's repping the Blues. He may not play because of his injury right now, but as you see the rosters, Joe, what are your thoughts in regards to the NHL All-Star rosters?
And in regards to Tarasenko, I just thought it was kind of weird because, he's been on the IR for 2-3 weeks now, 2 weeks. It doesn't really make sense as to why he's on there. I think Rob Tom and Kyrou are having far better years, but I don't know. I haven't even really looked at it. The Atlantic looks stacked though, because Tage Thompson, who we traded for Ryan O'Reilly, which don't be one of those fans that gets upset about it. We got a Stanley Cup out of it, but Tage Thompson has grown into a man, and he is having a great year. But Dylan Larkin's a stud. Matthew Tkachuk, Brady Tkachuk. That's just it's all stacked though. It's every team's pretty stacked right there. But I always have fun watching this. I like the skills competition and seeing Sidney Crosby and Ovi going at it again. Those guys have been fun to watch.
Yeah, most definitely. So we'll see once again goes to Tarasenko if he'll be part of the team, or if not, who will be his replacement. I have a feeling that might be Kyrou, but we shall see. Let's go ahead and change it over to some Major League Baseball. And I gave Joe a cool little assignment. I gave her some time to get ready, get prepared and everything.
Had it done in like 5 minutes.
Right. This ain't nothing to a boss. But over the last week or so, MLB.com came out with their best players predictions for 2023. So what we're going to do is I'll go ahead and say the team and the player, and we'll see if Joe agrees with the predictions, and if not, who does she have as her best player for each team. So we'll start off with the NL East, and for the Braves, you have Ronald Acuna Jr. Do you agree or disagree?
Disagree. I have Austin Riley.
Really?
Third base. Yeah, I mean Acuna, if he gets going to who he was before his knee injury a year or two ago, then maybe. But I mean, you'd seen it last year. He didn't produce the way he did before that. So I'm going with Austin Riley. They call him Young Thick. He's been really good the last 2 years, and it's only going to get better.
Marlins, Sandy Alcantara.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Mets, Justin Verlander.
I go Alonso.
Yeah,
all around.
I don't know why they said Verlander. The Nationals, CJ Abrams.
I got Joey Meneses. He came up last year, and the dude just hit everything.
For the Philadelphia Phillies, Trey Turner.
Yes. Yes. Even when Harper's healthy, I got to go Trey Turner for sure. He's just the all around fast as you know what, and good defense, and he has pop when he wants it.
T-Bone, why don't you read off the AL East?
Let's see. AL East. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Yes.
Yes.
For the Blue Jays.
Oh, for the Blue Jays. Sorry, missed that.
Yeah, I agree with that one for sure.
Let's see. Adley Rutschman? Is that how you say it?
Yeah, Adley Rutschman for the
For the
Baltimore
Orioles?
Orioles. Yeah, I have him on there as well. The guy that possibly could come in is Gunnar Henderson, who's going to play either third or short for them.
Let's see. Wander Franco for the Tampa Bay Rays.
Yeah, he's definitely their best player.
And he like what, 19, 20 years old?
I think he's 21 now, but yeah, he's a stud. I think he broke his hand once last year, maybe twice actually. But you know, if he's healthy, he was a top prospect a little bit ago, and yeah, he's really good.
And that's a Wander Franco.
Wander, sorry about that.
Oh, it's all good.
Some of these names are, some of these are new to me, but I'll be learning a lot as I get to see more and more baseball over the next year. I'm probably going to mess this one up. Rafael Devers, is that correct?
Nope, that's correct. That's correct, and that's about all Boston has nowadays. So yes, he is definitely their best player on their team and one of the best players in baseball.
Now let's see if I can get this one right. Aaron Judge?
No, it's Arson Judge.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I don't like. I'm trying not to go pitchers with this, but he's definitely their best player. Like I said last week, they didn't go anywhere without him. So yeah, Aaron Judge for sure.
All right, NL Central, the Milwaukee Brewers, Corbin Burns.
Yeah, I agree with that.
St. Louis Cardinals, Nolan Arenado. No.
This one was tough for me, but I stuck with Arenado for mine as well.
Who you have, Goldie? The second?
Yeah, Goldie. It probably went like Nato, Goldie, Contreras, and then Edman.
Wouldn't that be good though if Arenado is the best player on the team, and especially if Goldschmidt plays the way he did last year? If Arenado steps up, then that's even better.
Yeah, I mean those were your two producers last year, pretty much the entire year.
I would love for it to be Jordan Walker. We'll see though.
Mm-hmm.
Chicago Cubs, Dansby Swanson.
I went Ian Happ.
Ooh, I can see that though.
Very intriguing, good ball player, and if the Cubs aren't doing anything next year, I can definitely see him with like the Yankees or possibly the Astros at the deadline.
Pittsburgh Pirates, O'Neal Cruz Missile.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Me too. Cincinnati Reds, the old vet, Joey Votto.
I went a different route because Votto, was hurt last year. He slowed down a bit and he's getting old. That's what happens. I went Jonathan India to see if he has a bounce back year.
I can see that. He just got to stay healthy.
Mm-hmm.
T-Bone, AL Central.
I was checking to see how old Joey Votto was for a second. All right, AL Central. We got Jose Ramirez from the Cleveland Guardians.
Yeah, I agree with that.
All right. Bobby Witt Jr. from the Kansas City Royals.
Yes.
Riley Green from the Detroit Tigers.
Yes.
Byron Buxton from the Minnesota Twins.
If he stays healthy, which he has a very hard time doing, yes.
Health is availability is the best ability.
Mm-hmm.
Lewis Robert from the Chicago White Sox.
I went Dylan Cease, one of their pitchers. He was amazing last year. I think he came up like second or third in the Cy Young voting. So that's who I went. And Robert's another one of those guys where he's hurt a lot. So
I said Robert. Mm-hmm. So did I say his name completely wrong? Is it Luis Robert?
I say Luis Robert because that's what they've been saying it. But I mean, that's how it was when he was coming up. But they say Robert now, Luis Robert.
Oh, okay. Got it.
Man, his parents don't even know. Then they will stop playing. All right, NL West. Arizona Diamondbacks, Corbin Carroll.
Yes, Corbin Carroll. He's going to be a stud. Keep an eye over him.
And see, I follow baseball just as much as Joe, and I have no idea who that guy is. That's bad.
Yeah, he was one of the top prospects, and he's center fielder. He's fast as hell. So yeah, he's gonna be fun to watch.
And from the Dodgers, Mookie Betts.
I went Freeman slightly over him. Just listen, because Mookie has had a ton of injuries, and he's going to be probably their second baseman next year. It's just don't get me wrong, it's like slightly over, and that's about all they have on the Dodgers now, and somehow they'll still win like 100 games, but yeah.
From the Padres, Manny Machado.
I got Xander Bogaerts.
Ooh, interesting. Colorado Rockies, Chris Bryant.
I got CJ Crone because Chris Bryant didn't even play last year. Like that.
Well, he played like 5 games last year.
Yeah, I feel bad because like you could tell he's a good dude, but like that weird contract, barely played. So I gotta go CJ Crone because at least he'll hit 40 homers.
AL West, T-Bone. To round things off.
You forgot the Giants, by the way.
Oh, I'm sorry. San Fran Giants.
I had Mitch Haniger, so.
And yeah, I'm sorry. They had Logan Webb. Could have been Arson Judge, could have been Correa, but that's a whole different story. A whole lot going on right there. But you said Mitch Haniger. So sorry about that, Giants. I didn't mean to disrespect y'all. I know y'all been going through a whole lot right now.
It's been a hell of a year for them.
A hell of an offseason. AL West, T-Bone.
All right, we have this guy. He's a young guy, or maybe. His name is Mike Trout from the Angels. I heard he might be okay.
Yes, Michael Nelson Trout. He is definitely the best team on the Angels.
All right, we got Kyle Tucker from your Houston Astros.
This is so hard for me because I could honestly choose anyone in that lineup. But I went Yordan. You know, he had a couple health problems last year here and there, and still almost won the MVP. So I'm going Yordan slightly over Kyle Tucker.
All right, how about Seth Browns from the Oakland A's?
This one's funny and sad. Like, Seth Brown they have as the best player, but I went Tony Kemp. That's who I'm going.
Julio Rodriguez from the Seattle Mariners.
Yes, 100%.
And
that's Joe's side piece right there.
Yeah, I love me some J-Rod.
and to round things out, I've heard this guy may be okay as well. The guy named Jacob deGrom from the Texas Rangers.
And now this one, I went a different route because Jacob deGrom has barely thrown a ball in the last 2 years. I went Corey Seager, and it was hard between Seager and Marcus Semien. So I have a couple different. The only ones that I got actually 100% that I agree with is the AL East. Everyone else I have different people for at least a team or two.
Got you. But great job, Joe. MLB, her version of the best player predictions, brought to you by the Platform Sports Talk Show, your Wednesday night sports delight. I am your boy Smooth, and right below we got
T-Bone,
and right over there we have
Joe.
And if you'd like to sponsor a segment of the Platform Sports Talk Show, please send an email to platformsportstalkshow@gmail.com. We'll be glad to take any requests that you have out there. Now, hey, I heard there's some products out there that, might be a little questionable, but, hey, look, Smooth is running this. We'll see what he has to say. We'll filter it through him. And hey, while you're out there, check us out on Roku, Hot 365, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and make sure that you go ahead and check us out here on YouTube. For those of y'all watching, make sure you go ahead and like and subscribe. And when you do, go ahead and make sure that you hit that
bell.
That's right. That way, because when we go live, you will be
notified.
All right. Check us out. Man Cave, Ladies Night. Check us out. Let's go back to the show. Oh, Hot 365 Radio. How could I forget Hot 365 Radio? Because it's always hot out there. You got Hot 365 Radio on the app and on Twitch. Smooth, what's that link again? Twitch.tv. What is it?
/ Hot 365 Radio.
There you go. Because you can see us everywhere. There's no excuses for you to miss a show on Wednesday nights because you can see us everywhere, anywhere you got apps, we're there.
Hallelujah.
All right, let's get into some basketball talk right now. And because we balling, big things going on in the NBA. Last night, Steph Curry came back. He was gone for a few weeks. He made his appearance back. But let's see these standings real quick. Getting pretty interesting since the last time I had this slide out for, I think it was a super show. But let's start off in the East. Starting off with the 10th seed, the play-in tournament side. So you had number 10, Stan's Bulls. Number 9, the Hawks. Number 8, the Miami Heat. Number 7, the Knicks. Then the top 6. Number 6, you have the Pacers. Number 5, you have the Cleveland Cavaliers. Number 4, the 76ers. Number 3, the Milwaukee Bucks. Number 2, the Brooklyn Nets. Yes, the Brooklyn Nets. After everything they have gone through to start the season, from Kyrie, from Ben Simmons, to Durant wanting to go somewhere else on the offseason, to the coaching change with Steve Nash now going to Jack Vaughn, they are the number 2 seed in the NBA, in the Eastern Conference. So shouts out to the Nets. And then number 1, led by homegrown Joe's other side piece, Jason Tatum. You know what I'm saying? Joe just out here just doing it up here. But yes, Boston Celtics are number 1 in the East. On the West Coast, in the play-in tournament seeding right now, number 10, the Utah Jazz. Number 9, the Minnesota Timberwolves. Number 8, the Warriors. I know the wifey, she's excited. Number 7, the Suns. Number 6, the Clippers. Number 5, the Sacramento Kings, y'all. Yes, the Kings are relevant during this time of the year right now. Number 4, the Dallas Mavericks. Number 3, yes, even though Zion is hurt, the New Orleans Pelicans. Number 2, Ja Morant and the Memphis Grizzlies. And number 1, you have the Denver Nuggets on the outskirts, not too far behind. They're 1 game out from the play-in. That's the Lakers at number 12 and the Portland Trail Blazers at number 11. So the Lakers are playing much, much better since the new year. I believe they have not lost a game since 2023 has started. They are slowly on the rise, and Anthony Davis should be back very, very, very soon. Any thoughts, T-Bone, in regards to the season? I know that you talked about in the super show about your Orlando Magic and how you wish they can turn back the last 10 years of the season. But just your thoughts in regards to the NBA season, if you have any thoughts.
I mean, well, remember, my pick at the beginning of the year was Brooklyn to go into the championship game. So hopefully they'll be able to prove me right. Things will go right, pick up for them. If the Warriors could, continue to pick it up a little bit, that'd be even better. So that way so my prediction will be right. But, we'll see. A lot of teams out here, there's a lot of pretenders out there right now. And one team in particular may be pretending right now and faking it till they make it. But I don't think they're going to make it to the playoffs like they may think. And I know who you're talking. You know who I'm talking about.
I wonder who that team is. Faking it till they make it, huh?
Faking it till they make it.
Into that sting. So, Joe, any thoughts?
No. Jason Tatum. And, this is like 2 weeks old now because we had the I think we were going to talk about it last week, but Bonnie was talking about Donovan Mitchell, but Luka's game a couple weeks ago. That was insane. Brendan was actually excited to watch a basketball game, which was really odd. So basketball. There you go. That's all I got.
Yeah, Luka's been doing this thing over the last shoot, this whole season for real. But yeah, I think he had like 60-something points. Just amazing the way he did that game. And like, that game the game tying shot that he made during the regular time, and he jumped up, tipped it in, and he got excited. He like, ah.
Yeah.
That part right there, I was like, we were both laughing, the wifey and I. So he's doing this thing, but we'll see what happens with the rest of the season, of course. And pretty soon, the All-Star game will be in Utah. So it'll probably be as many black people that you'll ever see in Utah coming up next month for the All-Star break.
Oh, man.
It's gonna be exciting times. But as of right now, you have the first fan return voting right now for the NBA All-Stars. So what the key is right now is you have 3 front court guys and 2 guards. The top 3 front court guys and the top 2 guards. So as you see right now on your screen, from the West, number 1 in the front court, LeBron James. Number 2, Jokic. Number 3, Anthony Davis. So as of right now, based off the voting, they will be the starting front court. And then the guards would be Steph Curry and Luka Doncic for the West. And then representing the East, it will be front court, Kevin Durant, Giannis Antetokounmpo. Yeah, I said it right, I think. And then number 3, Joel Embiid. And right behind Embiid, Jason Tatum. So come on, Tatum. And for the guards, top 2, you have Kyrie Irving and Donovan Mitchell. So that's as of right now. It'll be updated over the weekend. And we'll, of course, because we are the Platform Sports Talk Show, we will keep y'all updated as they go. Is there anyone that y'all see that y'all feel should take over any of those spots as of right now, or will eventually take over a spot?
I'm just confused how Russell Westbrook is number 6 in the guards. But all right, fan voting it is.
That's like one thing I always fan voting, like for baseball even. You just get a lot of average guys in there that I don't want to see. Like I know in 2016, I think every starting position for the NL was literally a Chicago Cub, no matter if they were good or bad. And that's just one thing I don't really like about fan voting, but I guess I get it if you want to try to keep the fans engaged.
Like, for instance, Austin Reeves for the Lakers, he's a bench player. Like, he's not even a starter, but he's top 9 in the guards right now in the bottom left. So, like you said, them fan votes, they just vote for whatever, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But we shall see. And of course, as they have done over the last couple of years now, since Kobe Bryant passed away, is they'll have their, the 5 representatives from the West in regards to the starters and from the East. But they won't be starting in regards to, it'll be West versus East. They'll have their draft. So you'll still have the your top 5 or top 10 from both of combined conferences who still start, but they'll be in a draft. Then they'll pick the rest of the players later on. But should be exciting. Look forward to it in Utah coming up very, very soon. Let's get right into everyone's favorite segment, role play. Y'all know what this is. We will interview a very, very special guest who was so happy to be on the Sports Talk Show. And we'll ask them some questions, and you might get some answers that you may not normally see if they were on different shows. So let's go and have a little fun. And T-Bone, who do you have to interview on the show? Who do you have right now?
I believe that I have the head coach of the Brooklyn Nets. What's his name? Vaughn. I can't pronounce. What's his first name?
Yep.
Is it Jock or?
Man, you better know my name.
Is it
It's Smooth?
Now we know. Hold on. Wait. Before I even begin, because first off, it's a pleasure to be on this show. But I've been hearing this through the grapevine that I look like this man Smoooth, and I just don't see it.
Oh,
I just don't see it at all. Okay.
I don't know what you're saying, sir. I mean, I get it. I get it. The beards, they're like the inverted versions of each other. So maybe that's what it is.
And I see that there's a comment from a Miss y'all call her Miss Dub. I heard y'all say Miss Dub. Is that correct?
Dub, that's right, Miss Dub.
Okay. She says that she enjoys role play. So I appreciate that. You know, I hope I do y'all proud for role play.
Well, I gotta ask, you know, the season seems to be going your way. What would you say is causing all this, the success that you're receiving right now?
See, people forget, and maybe even yourself, T-Bone, but I have previous experience in coaching, and I did coach for the Orlando Magic for a few years, and it wasn't the best run.
Do you really want to bring that up?
You have to start somewhere. Started from the bottom, now we're here, like Drake said. But I had to learn from my experience, and I did. People in the NBA know that I am a hard worker. I work extremely hard. I prepare, and I have a lot of respect amongst my peers. And once the opportunity came for me to take over for Steve Nash, who I would not say anything bad about him, he was a great guy, just in an unfortunate situation. But I came in with a plan, and I wanted to change the culture of this team. And I had to make sure that I established that who is in command of this team. Yes, the players play. Yes, they run it, but they need to have structure. And that's what I brought to this team. And as you see now, we're second in the Eastern Conference, and we're coming for that top spot.
So you just said structure. Now, I can understand Durant may work well within structure. I understand you may have other players on the team that may work well within structure, but you know who I got to ask. How is it coaching Kyrie Irving?
See, most people see what they see on TV or on social media. But when you have a presence like what I bring to the table, where I don't take BS, you know, it's all about the team. And once I made him feel comfortable to be himself, to play amongst his teammates, it shows. And you have not heard a peep from Kyrie ever since, because he sees the potential that this team can have when there's a better structure. So to me, it's been a joy. We don't allow outside noise to interfere with what we have growing and building in this next organization. He needed a different leader, a different voice, and that's what I brought to this team. And everyone is happy. We're a family. We're doing things in the community. We're doing things outside of the basketball court, because that's what is really big, and that is what matters with this organization. And he's just been nothing but a pleasure. And as you also see, he's leading in the fan voting for guards too. So just so you know, he's a great man, and it's been a pleasure to coach him.
Hey, you never know the answers till you ask the questions. So good to hear. Glad to hear that that's working out. So, Coach, I just got to ask, season's coming up, or we're starting to get towards the back end of the season here. What should we expect from the Brooklyn Nets going into the playoffs?
2 words: Ben Simmons. He continues to get better and better after taking some time off, of course, over the last couple of years. But his confidence has just skyrocketed over the last few weeks now. We don't need him to be a 15-point or 20-point scorer per game. We just need him to be out there on the floor doing this thing. People forget that he's one of the best defensive players in the game. And he's such an incredible ball handler. He's like, 6'8", 6'9", with incredible handles. He's a point guard on the floor. He doesn't have to be the shooter that maybe most teams want him to be, or what Philadelphia wanted him to be in the past. Just go ahead and control the ball, hit guys that's open, which he's doing that, and play incredible defense and be aggressive down the paint. He's going to bring a whole different force to this team. He will continue to bring a different different style of play and be a force on this team, especially going to the second half when everything ramps up, trying to get that good seeding for the playoffs.
Well, all right, Coach. Well, I got to tell you, between you and I did pick the Brooklyn Nets to make it to the finals. So if you could do me a solid and make it there, we'd all be happy. You know what I mean? So I wish you the best of luck. I hope that we hear from you again. Once you all make it into the finals.
T-Bone, you are a very smart man. You might as well go ahead and grab a lottery ticket. It's on, baby.
All right. Thanks so much, Coach.
And that was Jock Vaughn showing love on the Platform Sports Talk Show. And Joe, I believe you have someone.
Yeah, I have Mr. DeWitt on the line with us today. I mean, Mr. DeWallet. Hello, sir. How are you doing tonight?
Oh well, things are well. Things are well.
Okay, and I'm just going to start you off with an easy question tonight on the Platform Sports Talk Show. How do you think your team has done for the offseason?
Oh, we've done very, very, very well. I mean, you've seen everything out there that we've done, huh? What do you think? What do you think?
Well, Mr. DeWitt, there was a very public interview on the radio for everyone to see of your guy Mozeliak saying that the income's going to go higher this year. It's gone up $1 million since last year.
What? I mean, I don't know where you're going at with that, but I'll accept your premise.
I mean, whenever us fans hear that the payroll's going to go up, we're getting a little excited. We're getting, we're getting itchy butts. And all right, $1 million. Okay, we're gonna play it that way. All right, and there was a very public quote from you saying that this industry is not profitable, but it just came out that MLB's new revenue record for 2022 was $10.8 billion. Do you still think the MLB is not a profitable industry?
Well, the MLB is a relative term. I mean, when you look at it, you got to ask yourself: are we talking about all the franchises that are reaping in that money, or is it just the MLB as a whole? Yes, there's revenue sharing. Yes, there's all these things. But I mean, here's the deal. I mean, we got expenses. I mean, have you seen our payroll? It's out the roof. Huh?
Yeah, but I mean, you had to bring back a 45-year-old Albert Pujols to make up for all that. And still, you only spent $1 million more.
I mean, that sounds like smart business, right? I mean, look, bringing Pujols back was good for the city. I think everybody, looked out well. I mean, here's the deal. I mean, we're going to be looking to see, when we can find the right person. We don't want to just bring anybody out here. I mean, there's that guy with the Phillies, Mr. Harper. He's okay, but I mean, look how much he would have cost. I mean,
Well, before we move on, I'd just like to say, all that money Albert Pujols brought in, just think of that times 10 with Bryce Harper. You could have had a whole street filled of ballpark villages by now. But lastly, there's been rumors the last couple of years that, you might be selling here soon. Is that just what it is, a rumor, or you think you're sticking around here in St. Louis and with the Cardinals?
I mean, look, a sale sales are always on the table. The right price is the right price, but I don't want the city of St. Louis to feel like I'm selling them out. But the realistic point is that a sale it could happen at any time, but it's not something that we're actively pursuing. But if somebody came around with the right price and everything and made sure that the city was going to be right. The Cardinals in St. Louis is is the most important thing, and we'll see what comes, but it's not something that we're really looking into at the moment.
All right, well, Mr. DeWitt, thank you for hopping on to our show tonight, and we'll be seeing you in spring training.
All right, we look forward to it, and hopefully the stands will be packed.
No.
All right.
They will, because we're suckers.
We got you fools. But yeah. So Bill DeWitt Jr. just got on the show. It was definitely a pleasure to have him on. I think he was on a few about a year ago or so. He was on the show for something. But that's how we do on the platform Sports Talk
Probably
Show.
the same questions being asked last year too.
Like, what the freak? But someone that I know has definitely needs to have some questions that we need answers for. And I do have now on the show. And I know this man here has gone through a whole lot over the last few weeks. He was supposed to be signed to one team, then going to sign to another team. Now, yesterday, he signed with the Twins, and that's none other than Carlos Correa. Mr. Correa, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty good today, Smooth. Signed my new contract with the Minnesota Twins. Me and my wife and our son are very excited to be staying in the Twin Cities.
How stressful has it been for you over these last few weeks? I know it's not easy. You're expecting to go to San Fran, and I'm sure you're taking the family and about to get ready for the press conference and the whole nine, and then you get the news about the physical and everything. Then the same thing happened in New York. What did you can you just explain to the people your mindset of how you felt during that time?
Yeah, I mean, it was a very different situation from, my last time in free agency. There was San Francisco. They seemed like they wanted me. Me and my family were there. We were ready to go, and they saw something they didn't like, and then Steve Cohen popped up, and he tried doing the same thing, and he didn't like something either. But it was stressful, but I'm where I'm supposed to be in Minnesota, and I'm just ready to go out and help the Twins try to win some baseball games.
So for the fans in St. Louis who's watching right now, there's been 2 off seasons now over the last 2 years where we had opportunities to get top tier shortstops, and myself, I was big on guys like our previous guest, Mr. Bill DeWitt Jr. and others to just make a play to get someone like yourself and other top tier shortstops. Were there any interest from the Cardinals during your time of free agency?
No, I've never heard from the Cardinals at all, even last year. I know Yadier Molina has reached out to me a little bit. He's a fellow Puerto Rican, and he was trying to put in a good word for me. But no, I've never heard from Mr. DeWitt. It would have been a really fun city to play with, or play for. Play right next to Nolan Arenado. But no, I've never heard from them at all.
Do you feel that the Cardinals or other teams may not have been as interested because of what happened during your time in Houston?
No, I don't think that's what it was. I mean, they seen that even after 2017 that I have proved to be a good ball player, a leadership, and I will stick up for my guys, whenever they need me to be. So I don't think that had anything to do with it. Me and Boris, we've gotten some calls from several other teams besides the Twins, Mets, and Giants. So I think that's in the past for some of these guys.
Very interesting. So this will be the first season where every team is going to play everyone from now on, thanks to the change with the collective bargaining agreement. So you will have the opportunity to play against the Giants and against the Mets this upcoming season. What is going to be your mindset in regards to facing off against both those organizations? Is it going to be you're going to be angry about it? You're going to be, how will your mindset be, or have you thought about that yet?
I haven't really gotten myself to think about that yet, but I will say, the guys that I'm competing against, they're not the ones that decided not to sign me. But I won't say that if I hit a home run or had a good series against these teams, it wouldn't feel extra good, just like it does in the playoffs or if I go to Dodger Stadium.
And last question I have, and this has been an incredible interview. Man, I mean, we get the guys, y'all. Man. But anyway, what would you say to people who are questioning you about your so-called injury history?
I would just tell them that, I've had a couple other doctors say that they have no issue with what they've seen. I've been training, I've been healthy the last 2 years, and any other time I have been on the injured list, it has been for my back. And my back has been, a clean bill for a couple of years now. So I'm just going to go out there and prove to everyone that I'm good to go and, show teams what they missed out on.
Well, Carlos Correa, it's been a pleasure, and hope that you have a wonderful season for the Twins, and you definitely fulfill your 6-year contract and get it extended for more.
Thank you, Smoooth. Thank you for having me on. Maybe we can do this again.
Most definitely. And ladies and gentlemen, that was Role Play. Hope y'all enjoyed it. On the platform, Sports Talk Show, your Wednesday night sports delight. Up next, it's time for some NFL talk. Well, actually, it's time for some football talk overall, man. We got to show love to the national champions, the Georgia Bulldogs, and I know it was supposed to be a national championship game Monday night, but it felt like games where you just schedule a team the first couple of weeks of the season, just kind of get warmed up before the big games start happening. That's exactly how it was with Georgia versus TCU. And for those who are saying TCU didn't belong there, no, that's false. They did their part. You know what I'm saying? They beat Michigan. They had a great run during the regular season, only losing to K-State during their conference championship. But TCU belonged there. But it's just a whole different beast when you're facing the SEC. And that's what TCU found out on the worst possible stage to do it at the national championship game. But what were your thoughts?
I usually get really excited for those games every year. And, first quarter, I was like, they still got time. They did not have time. It was depressing. I felt bad for them, I mean, they weren't, projected to be where they were. So, as a organization, as a school, that's awesome for them, but it wasn't fun to watch, and that sucks because, like I said, that's like at least one football game in college football that I actually enjoy watching every year, and it did nothing for me.
You know what I always wonder in situations like this is when you're the team that makes it to the championship game, but you lose in a definitely non-competitive fashion where you just get routed. I wonder if it's mentally better to make it to that game and get trounced, or if you make it to the game before that, lose respective, and then, but kind of like always have the, well, what if? Well, they got the what if, and they found out, nah, y'all ain't the team today. So
right.
I always wonder, but look, the biggest thing is they made it to the game. Nobody else did except for Georgia. Georgia just happened to be Georgia, and one team won, one team lost. But at the end of the day, they went to the championship game. They'll always be able to have that on their resume.
Exactly. So I will say congrats to TCU because I was saying this before. Like, I was surprised when they beat Michigan the way they did, or how they had a big lead over Michigan during that time on New Year's Eve. So, but for them to make it there, it's a huge accomplishment for them, for the Big 12. This was once again the reality set, and the SEC showed out. And Georgia is not going anywhere, folks. Like, all they're going to do is just be like how Alabama was. Just reload. You know what I'm saying? That's all you're doing. Just add more bullets to the chamber, and they're going to probably be right back there. But it's so crazy because there was one team in particular throughout the whole season that gave Georgia a run for their money.
Who?
MIZ.
COU.
There we go. Out of all the teams, Mizzou, prior to the last 4 minutes of that game, they had Georgia. So it's just amazing how all the teams, we were the ones, Mizzou were the ones to, give them the best game of the season and almost beat them. Hopefully, Mizzou learns from what they have went through this season. They just hired a new offensive coordinator, which is going to be very critical. That'll allow Eli Drinkwitz to be more of a dictator, in regards to getting these guys here, putting these guys in position. To stop him having to focus on the offense so much. Now he can go ahead and be more of that overall guy that the team needs, and we'll see what happens with Mizzou next year.
No, you guys know I don't know a lot about college football, but I felt like there was a lot of positivity when we got Drinks, and then I don't know, I kind of feel like all season he just didn't make good calls, and he was really good at recruiting, but the whole coaching part of the in-game coaching, it's not so pretty. So but what do you do with that? Didn't he sign an extension or something?
They signed and it wasn't done by the AD, the athletic director. It was done by the curators. They're the ones who went on and signed him to an extension already, which a lot of people are saying, why y'all do that so soon? But he may not say it, but he may have been a little bit over his head, because it's one thing to coach at Appalachian State, in a conference that's not the SEC and try to do everything. But when you get to the SEC, it's a whole different ball game. And I think he's now learning that. So I hope we can start seeing the results of what he has learned these last 3 years now. I know the first year, I believe, was a COVID season. But we'll see what happens now, especially with him allowing other guys now to take bigger roles. And he can pretty much just fall back now and put guys in better positions to succeed. So,
yeah, because it seems like these guys want to play for him, I see it on Karen, and I can't remember what her last name is. We've had on the show before. She does some Mizzou stuff. She's, always retweeting these, recruits, and they're pumped. So, he's doing a good job there. It's just the stuff that matters, on the field, it's not really working out.
Right. It's kind of like get that good start where we're beating, some easy game teams, which I feel like that's the issue too. You need to start having a schedule that starts off, strong from the get-go and not so weak where you're thinking, oh yeah, we're gonna be undefeated, and then you face a one team that you feel like you should win, and then you get whooped on. Start off the season hot. Start off strong with a good non-conference schedule or whatever it is, and let's go. But getting a quarterback is going to be I know Brady Cook is a quarterback right now. Sam Horn is another guy who's right behind him. Brady Cook, all season long, it was announced that he played with pretty much a bum elbow. So he wasn't like 100%, but he's had more confidence the last couple of games of the season. He starts showing out like maybe it is his team. But the quarterback position is going to be very, very critical for the Mizzou Tigers to be successful. So we shall see. And then, of course, we have NFL wildcard weekend. And usually around this time, football talk, we have Sadal on to talk about his football. He couldn't be on, but he did have something to say. So check it out.
Sadal the Selector, the real estate DJ, and I am making this video for the Platform Sports Talk show. Now, I apologize. I couldn't be there in person to talk about this week in football. So I decided to do this video for you all to give you my thoughts on this past week and this coming weekend. Man, the national championship game was crazy. Actually, it was one-sided. The Georgia Bulldogs absolutely whipped TCU's tail Monday night, man. It was ugly. Man, they dog walked them. And they the dogs. TCU had no business in the national championship game. Hindsight 2020. They were outclassed, outmatched, outperformed, downright embarrassed. I think the College Football Playoff Committee really needs to sit down and analyze how they're picking teams, because the records really don't matter in comparison to the strength of conference. You can be 12-1 in the Big 12 and get demolished by a team that's mid-level in the SEC. You have TCU, who was 12-1, granted, but that one loss came in their own conference championship. So that should have been null and void there. They beat Michigan. They're in the Big 10, but still managed to get to the final. And at the end of the day, Georgia Bulldogs pretty much leveled the playing field and equaled them out, and that was a wrap. Now on to next weekend. We have a big weekend coming up with the NFL playoffs starting this weekend. Super Wild Card Weekend. The door is wide open for any team to go to the Super Bowl this year. So I wanted to go over some of the games of the weekend and share my thoughts on each matchup. First up, Saturday, you got the Seahawks and you got the 49ers. What can I say? 49ers win this one. Yeah, they won so many games in a row. They got an impressive defense, gotta admit that. And Brock Purdy somehow has not messed it up for the team. Seahawks, they're a scrappy team, but I don't think they pull it off this time. Next, you have the Chargers and the Jaguars. Now, hey, the Jaguars come in red hot. Got a great young team. They're hungry. Got a good coach, a real coach this time. And they've been pretty impressive over the last few weeks. The Chargers, they got a great quarterback in Herbert, but I don't know if they can put together on defense. Not really sure. It's going to be a close game, but I choose the Chargers on this one. Now, Sunday, we have another slate of games that's interesting. First up, we have the Dolphins and the Bills. Now, the Dolphins, their quarterback situation is up in the air. We don't know who's going to play quarterback for them. Tua is under concussion protocol. We don't know if he's going to be able to play. Teddy Bridgewater is hurt. And the Bills, they're riding high with their guy, Hamlin, out of the hospital, thank the Lord. And they just are playing at another level right now. The Bills are playing at home, and I just don't see them losing this game. Bills over the Dolphins. Next up, you have the Giants and the Vikings. Now, these are two shaky teams, man. I don't know. You can flip a coin on this one. Yes, the Vikings have the better record, but who have they really beaten? They have been close in a lot of games that they shouldn't have been close in. And somehow they miraculously pulled off a victory. The Giants, I'm still not convinced. I don't know. Something about the Giants, I don't know. I have to go with the Vikings on this one. They pull out a close one. Next up, you have the Ravens and Bengals. Again, another quarterback situation with the Ravens. You don't know who's going to be in there. I mean, last week they had the third string guy in there. And the Bengals are at home. They're red hot. I got to pick the Bengals on this. And the last game of Super Wild Card Weekend, we have the Cowboys and the Buccaneers. This is interesting here. First up, the Cowboys. What in the world are they doing right now? They're not living up to their record right now. They're getting beat by teams they should be beating. I don't know what's going on with them on that side. Buccaneers, they got a losing record, but they won the division. Somehow Tom Brady has found his way back into the doggone playoffs. But you know what? I'm going to have to pick the Buccaneers on this one. Cowboys just looking too iffy. Sorry, Buccaneers over the Cowboys. Now, since this is the beginning of the NFL playoff season, I'm going to give you my predictions on the Super Bowl as it stands. It has changed over the past few weeks with a lot of different developments happening in the NFC. Now, this is going to be a hot take for me. I can't believe I'm going to say this. I pick the San Francisco 49ers to win the Super Bowl. Hold on, T-Bone. Wait just a daggone minute. I know you're over there rah-rah and cheering with your little sweater on, but just wait. By no means does this mean I'm some kind of bandwagon 49er fan all of a sudden. It still go Rams. But, gotta admit, your little team is hot. Whatever. I don't see another NFC team beating them, and they go on to the Super Bowl. Just thank your lucky stars that the Rams are not in the playoffs this year. You just better be lucky. As a matter of fact, I hope the 49ers lose to the Seahawks this week. How about that? On the AFC side, I know I picked the Kansas City Chiefs to go all the way, but the recent events happening in Buffalo, the young kid Hamlin, number 3, the magic that's happening right now, I see the Buffalo Bills going to the Super Bowl and beating the 49ers. It's going to be a glorious day. And those are my picks for this coming Super Wildcard weekend. I'm going to enjoy it. Right now, I'm at another location right now, but I'm going to be watching this weekend's games very closely. I'm always going to root against the 49ers, but those are my thoughts on the NFL playoffs this week. Until next time, follow me on them internets for more content. And tune in to the Platform Sports Talk Show. Click on that bell, because anytime we go live, you will be notified. Power up on them.
Damn, he went all out for that.
Oh, man. Cut the check.
Oh, never fails. Never fails. This has been going on for 25 years, okay? 25 years this has been going on. But that's okay.
And see, that was my first time actually seeing the video. You know, I'm new to this too. I'm like, okay, cool. So that was dope. Appreciate it all for, taking some time out to make the video. Shouts out to another fan of the show, Sosa. He's one of the integral parts of this show as well. The reason why, because he helped me out getting us on Roku as well. So appreciate him, man. He doing his thing. He's a producer, director himself. So he's doing big things around the Lou. So shouts out to him for showing love to the Platform Sports Talk Show. So I guess T-Bone, your reactions.
Well, Sadal is always going to find a way to kind of stick in it, as George Costanza would say. But it's all right. Look, he had the right idea. He just kind of went on the wrong path. The 49ers will make it to the Super Bowl. The 49ers will win the Super Bowl. But why will they win the Super Bowl? Smoooth, do you happen to have those playoff graphics up?
Do I? Now you already know.
All right, so if you look at the playoffs, I just want to point out some things that, may have been kind of overlooked here when we're looking at the playoffs. So let's look at the AFC for 1 second, and I just want to point something out. We got Buffalo and Miami. I know that Miami has the questionable quarterback situation right now, right? But that's a divisional game, regardless of how you want to look at it. And the Dolphins did beat the Bills earlier in the season. I think that, you know, as it can happen with teams, you know, this last game that they played, the Bills, the last game that they played was against the Patriots, also another divisional game. You know, that's kind of an emotional game. You know what I mean? Like, that was an emotional game that they had based on everything that happened. And trying to face that divisional rival to, you know, well, the Patriots were trying to get into the playoffs, and, you know, everything went right their way to win that game. But I don't think everything is going to go right for Buffalo against the Dolphins because, again, both those games have been close this year, and this is the third time that they're facing them. If anybody understands the problem with facing a team 3 times in a season, it's the 49ers. But you know, I think that might not work as well for the Bills as probably predicted. I'm not saying it's a guarantee, but if you had to pick, I'd say that I'd probably lean towards the Dolphins just because of the circumstances with that. Smooth, you got any thoughts about that one?
You know, I heard about that earlier on the radio. Like, don't be surprised if there is a shocker from that game. And like you said, divisional games just hit different in the playoffs. So even though I still will have Buffalo winning because Tua isn't playing. He's out. So I still have Buffalo winning. And I have a strong feeling that this guy is going to be at the game for pregame, maybe for a coin toss or something, and that's going to just galvanize the whole city and the team. So I think even though it's a divisional game, it would not take it won't be an upset against the Dolphins.
Oh, I mean, like I said, this isn't one of those things where I'm like saying like, yeah, the Dolphins are definitely going to do this. It's more like I don't know. It's possible. I'm a lean towards them though. And then who else you got up there? You got the Ravens and the Bengals. I mean, I know that they just played last week. It would seem likely that the Bengals will win that one, so we'll go ahead with the Bengals. Chargers and Jaguars. I'm definitely going to go with the Chargers on that one because I'll never have faith in the Jaguars or that ownership group.
I'm saying the Jags.
I'm
going with the Jags. They coming in hot. I don't trust Brandon Staley. I trust Doug Peterson more in the playoffs. And I really like how the Jaguars are playing. They kind of remind me of how the Bengals were last year.
I mean, but when was the last time that the Chargers lost, right? I mean, the last time the Chargers lost the season was to the Chiefs. So
and that was what week?
It was several weeks ago, like maybe 7. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, about 8 weeks ago. So I mean, they're riding pretty high too, and I think it's just been kind of underrated. They actually beat the Dolphins a few weeks ago. They beat the Rams. Well, that's not saying much.
Hey.
But you know, I think that the Chargers are kind of going under the radar, and because you know the Chargers are one of those teams where you expect them to be okay. You don't expect them to be great. You expect them to be okay. Going back to the Phillip Rivers days, and you know the Jaguars, you don't really expect much from them. So their overperformance, I think, is kind of overhyping them as a team altogether.
And to me, as I said before, I'm thinking about from the coaching standpoint. And Doug Peterson won a Super Bowl a couple of years ago. Brandon Staley, he's still young in the game. He's trying to get his bearings. And now you're in the playoffs. I'm going to go with that experience of Doug Peterson and him leading his team. I mean, definitely could be right with the Chargers because they do have a great, solid squad, and they're hot. But so is Jacksonville, and it is. I think to me, it just feels a little bit different when, even though, like you said, the Chargers had that longer winning streak, but for the Jaguars to get to the position they at right now, it's a whole different kind of emotion and mentality, I feel. But once again, go down to Doug Peterson versus Brandon Staley, and I got Doug Peterson.
I feel like the Jaguars have had a pretty favorable schedule, except for the Dallas game. There's no team on there that they've beaten that's really, super impressive. But let's see who else we got here. We got the Dallas Cowboys and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Hmm.
I mean, this might go to a time limit draw. I mean, I'm just saying, who can win this game is the better question, because as Sadal pointed out, the Bucs have they have a losing record. The Cowboys should have just not even tried in this last game to not even show that they're vulnerable. But I'm still going to go with the Cowboys on that one. It just seems like it's the better fit. They've obviously done enough this season. Maybe that game was what they needed to get their stuff together so that they'll come into these playoffs ready. However, I would much prefer that the Buccaneers win because of who they'd have to face in the next round. Smoooth, you got thoughts?
I can't trust Dak Prescott. I wanted to. I believed in him when he first started, but it just seems to me he had these lapses where he don't know his own team. He throwing the ball to the other team, and I just can't trust him when it comes to pressurized moments, especially in the playoffs when the lights are brighter. And that's why I have to go with the Buccaneers.
I mean, it's absolutely possible. This is one of those you don't have huge confidence either way, but I would still lean towards the Cowboys. And then let's see what other playoff matchups we have here. The Giants and the Vikings. It's a tough one too, because who do you trust in that one? Those two teams played earlier in the season. If I'm not mistaken, the Vikings won that one, but it may have been a lot closer than they probably would have wanted it to be. I'm actually probably going to go with the Giants on that one.
I was about to say the same thing. I do not trust Kirk Cousins and the Vikings. Yes, they have probably the best wide receiver in the game in Justin Jefferson, but I just cannot trust the Vikings. And the coach, what's his name, Brian Gable, I believe, from the Giants, the way that his team is structured and how they run their offense and stuff, it could be very frustrating for the Vikings. So I'm going to go with the upset special and say the Giants will beat the Vikings.
And of course, the main event, the San Francisco 49ers against the Seahawks. Now, I know what I said earlier about the Bills and the Dolphins about facing the team 3 times in the season is tough. However, I don't think these Seahawks have faced these 49ers in the same way, because I think we've probably had 3 different quarterbacks in the times, they probably faced Jimmy G once. They probably faced Brock once, so they're going to face Brock again. I'm actually going to give it to, obviously, the 49ers because everything is working out. I believe we have all our pieces back, so I think that the 49ers are just going to, they're going to make it through.
I'm going with San Fran too. I don't see them losing probably until maybe the NFC Championship game, because I'm still going to say Philadelphia is going to go to the especially with Jalen Hurts. As long as he's healthy, I like Philadelphia still going. But I would not be shocked at all if San Fran go, because they are the scariest team right now in the NFC.
I gotta tell you, I don't think Philadelphia wins their first game.
Who they playing? Bring it up.
They would be a bye. And so it could vary. I've been kind of looking at this. So so right now, assuming the 49ers would take out the Seahawks, so that eliminates the 7th seed. So that gives you 5 and 6. So the 5th seed is the Cowboys. The 6th seed is the Giants. Is that correct? That should be correct. Yeah.
Correct. Yeah.
So they could, there's a slew of teams that they could face, but it would be likely to either be the Giants or the Cowboys. So they may face the Giants. And see, this is where Philadelphia runs into the problem because they're going to face a division rival, and all those games have been close. So I don't think that they make it through their first game.
Interesting. And yes, so in the NFL, the playoffs and how they go each round, of course, is the higher seed will face the lower seed from the first round. So it's not like this Esther Stone already. Well, boom, Cowboys are next. No, it's going to be the lower seed versus the higher seed in the second round for the best matchups for the next matchup. But yeah, so we'll definitely see. But it should be pretty exciting. Hopefully, there's some great games. Because remember last year, y'all, the NFL playoffs the first three rounds were amazing. Wild card round, divisional round, conference championships were amazing.
Yeah, I remember. I felt like it was a wild card weekend. That was kind of bleh, and then after that, it was crazy. Every game was crazy.
The divisional weekend, if I'm not mistaken, was the Bills and Chiefs.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm excited. This is always something I get excited for, is watching playoff football. It's different. It sucks because I'm in the middle of doing a dry month, so I won't be able to get hammered and watch football games. But I think what Siddall was kind of saying with Hamlin, if you're just a fan of the sport in general, you don't have like your heart set on one team, I don't see how you just kind of don't want the Bills to go all the way. They have one of those stories going on right now, and it's obviously not for a good reason, but he's alive. And like Fred, I agree with what you said. I could definitely see him there at the stadium for like a coin flip or something. So that place is going to be rocking. I think I said beginning of the year, Bengals, Bucks, but maybe I'll go Bills, Bucks.
Okay.
You meant 49ers.
I won't be upset if the 49ers win, but I like Tom Brady, and even though they had not a great year, he's still Tom Brady, so
he found a way.
It'd be fun.
Hey, he's probably the smartest person in football, because when he left the Patriots, he said, "You know what? What's the easiest division to win?" Because that's always been for the past I don't know how many years where, except for Drew Brees, and did Drew retire before he got there, or was it the next year?
Retired before he got to.
Did Drew Brees retire before Tom Brady got to the Bucks, or did they play like 1 year together?
They played 1
Yeah.
year.
Drew Brees still played when Tom was on the Buccaneers.
Yeah, so it was like a year. So like he knew what he was doing. He was like, "Look, once Drew Brees is gone, this is basically being my division again. All right, there's no competition here."
Yeah. Yep. But once again, definitely should be exciting times. And of course, because it's the Cowboys, they're playing this upcoming Monday night at Tampa Bay. So that should be a good Monday Night Football playoff game right there. But we just hope for health and a great round of football coming up this upcoming weekend and this Monday. So our last topic of the evening, T-Bone's top 3. And there's been a lot of noise going on, T-Bone, in regards to some wrestling. Why don't you go and give us your top 3 storylines?
Well, I don't know if these are storylines, real life crossing over in storylines, but they all blend together. Top 3 things. Let's just do it in the order of the way that it happened. First thing, Vince McMahon gets back on the board of directors for WWE. He was ultimately elected the executive chairman of the board for WWE. So, he had been sitting on the sidelines for about 7-8 months after, the scandals involving some payments and how the payments were made and all that stuff. And, he's one of those people where he's always been doing stuff. So there was always people concerned about, okay, what's he going to do? When's he going to get back in control and all that stuff? But, he came back and basically kind of forced their hand by saying that, hey, I'm not going to approve any TV rights deals or sale of the company unless I'm, the chairman of the board, or not chairman, but the board member, on the board, I should say. And the thing that's unique about him is that based on the way that the stock was initially set up, he still owns like 81% of the voting power. So, you know, it was kind of his decision of what he wanted to do. So, but I believe he's actually maybe facing a class action lawsuit from shareholders right now. So that's the first part of the story. Second part of the story, several days later, Stephanie McMahon resigns as the CEO of WWE. She became CEO when Vince McMahon left. She's co-CEO with Nick Khan, or was co-CEO with Nick Khan. And this just kind of, I won't say it came out of nowhere, because obviously there was a big event that we just talked about that came up that, you know, just happened. So it's highly likely that the two things are correlated, that she left after her father found power back in the company. And the thing is that she's been pretty well liked in the company, you know, since she's been in charge. And I think that that may be something that's going to kind of hurt morale with her being down. But then there's rumors that they're actually selling the company. That's number 3. So there's rumors of a sale. One rumor came out last night that everybody was speculating about, that for right now has been kind of told to be untrue. The rumor yesterday was that the WWE was selling to the Saudi Arabia government, that the same people who own Live Golf, and which Premier League team is it? Well, one of the Premier League teams. But for now, that rumor's proved to be kind of untrue. But the big thing is that people are speculating that the company is going to be sold. When Vince came back, the stock jumped up based on the fact that people believe that a sale was going to happen. And, you know, my thoughts are that, one, I believe that he'll probably try to take it private. He'll probably get some investors. I wouldn't put it past him to get financing from the Saudi government to do it. But there's been speculation from all the different like streaming platforms that people think would be likely to purchase WWE. I seriously doubt that any of those would purchase the company, because there's so much to running a wrestling company that is just not common knowledge. It's not the same as running a movie studio or a TV studio. Like none of these networks have experience doing that. So I seriously don't think that that's something that they would want to take on. Plus, all the companies in the streaming wars, so your Comcast, your Paramount, your Warner Media, Warner Discovery, all of those companies, I think I said Comcast, but all of those companies, they're trying to pull back on money, because right now with Wall Street, that's kind of the thing that Wall Street's expecting. They're trying to figure out ways to make the streaming services profitable. And I don't think that any of them want to put the billions of dollars that it would cost to buy WWE outright on their books for this current fiscal year. So I just don't see that being the case, because again, they're competing with each other in a way that doesn't make sense for any one of them to spend that much money on content that is not the NFL. Smooth.
All right. Great points by T-Bone. And yeah, in regards to Vince McMahon, I just kind of got like a negative feeling when he brought himself back to the fold. And then as you saw, and as you brought up earlier, Stephanie McMahon now gone. Now they always said Triple H is still going to be the creator, the executive creator, whatever it's called. But just I hope that McMahon and what he's about to do doesn't take away the momentum that WWE has had ever since Triple H has taken over for his role in regards to wrestling. That's the whole thing, especially because you're about to have Royal Rumble coming up, then WrestleMania season is gonna be, it's approaching. Just don't want to lose that momentum, and guys that were maybe gonna be getting more shine or possibly coming back to the fold may not be there because McMahon may oversee and be like, no, I don't want him back, stuff like that. Or like you said before, in regards to selling the company, just making sure that it's a cool transition and it's not going to affect the brand in a negative way. That's my main concern. But we shall see. I just
Well,
want to keep that momentum going that Triple H has brought since he's been on.
Two things real quick. One, I don't think Vince is really is really worried about the creative. I think that the whole power play that he did was to make sure that he didn't lose, ultimate control of the company. Not the day to day, but I mean, like, he's the largest shareholder, got the most voting power of what can happen in the company. Let's say Nick Khan and Stephanie had made a deal with, let's say, Fox, because out of all the networks out there, Fox made the most sense to be the one that could actually buy it if there was going to be a media company that did it. But let's say that we're going to sell it to Fox, and Vince McMahon is just a shareholder, and he's not on the board, he's not the CEO, he's not any of that. Well, if they sell it, he's got nothing. They sell, he gets his money, but he has no control, right? So to me, the power play was more, hey, something's about to happen here. I don't want to be left out of it. So I'm going to come in and I'm going to negotiate myself into whatever this deal is going to be, right? So, that way, if he takes it private, he's in control. If he sells it to Fox, well, he has the guarantee of some type of title over the content of this for however long, right? So I think that was kind of his move with that. I was thinking something else too. One of the other things that you mentioned with WWE, but yeah, or yeah, I mean, with talent, I mean, the only downside for talent would be, let's say if they actually did sell it to the Saudi regime, because there's going to be specific people in there that's just not going to work for, and for multiple reasons. But I don't know. That's one of those things that it would come with a lot of. They'd have to do a lot of asking around to make sure that all their content partners would be good with that and everything before that they made a decision like that.
Okay. And Joe, I know you are a huge WE fan, so any thoughts?
Honestly, no. I woke up this morning, like, I think he was incarcerated. Bob retweeted the Saudi Arabia thing, and I was like, "What the hell?" Like, I don't keep up with this stuff as as much. If I see it on Twitter, that's how I see it. But I don't know. Hopefully, nothing drastic happens, because there's still a big crowd out there that loves WWE. So hopefully things look more positive than negative.
Most definitely. Well, everyone, with that being said, that is our show for the week, and we hope that you all have enjoyed the show. The main show will be back next Wednesday. And shouts out to Bunny. She couldn't be on tonight. She had to actually go to her job during this evening and do her thing, make that money. So she couldn't be on this evening. But look forward to having her back. And who knows? Stay tuned for what we have in store for the Platform Sports Talk Show, your Wednesday night sports delight. I am your boy Smooth. Right over here we have
Joe.
And right below, representing the 49ers,
T-Bone.
Platform Sports Talk Show, and Miss Dub. Yes, you will see us next week. Shouts out to everyone. Continue to share and spread the word of the Platform Sports Talk Show 2023 style. I am your boy Smooth, and we are out. Peace out, y'all.